Hey guys, it's Andrea with VW Family Farm and my two sidekicks back there. You want to say hi?
Hi, we're freezing out here. But luckily we have our head things made by our grandma.
Ben is at work and we are actually taking you guys along to do some more fencing. Lane?
Fencing is boring.
Are you the boss today? I told him he has to be a nice boss though, or I'm not listening. So there's that. Anyway, we are going to go try to knock out a big portion of this fencing project by ourselves and get a lot of it done. And then there's a short little portion through the woods that we got to have Ben's help for. So, but we thought we'd take y'all along today and just see what happens. Who knows? We always seem to get a lot of work done, but we might hurt ourselves or fall down in the process, so maybe we'll catch it on camera. Come on along. We've replaced the fuel pump already, but it's going out again, so we have to, all I've been told is click the key back and forth a few times, pull the choke and it'll start. But Lane knows more technical details, but all I need to know is how to make the thing work. And the choke is broke, so I have to physically hold it out with my hand. This thing is as old as our kids pretty much, so, but it is a jewel. We have used the fire out of this thing.
Think it's about time for an upgrade?
No, upgrades cost money.
We could get a wagon ride back here in.
With horses or what? Horses and wagon?
Sure. Hey, or we could get alpacas and they could carry us.
Okay, I'm going to kind of show y'all what we've been doing with this high tensile wire. Our high tensile wire is going down the middle of this 120 acre field and around the perimeter. And then we'll use poly wire like to section off the paddocks. But right now we're just working on the perimeter and we've got a big section our cows are in. Lane's been showing you as we've been driving. But I'm going to kind of show you. Lane, pan over here. What we do, and I'm going to show y'all this in a few minutes when we get off and actually do one, is we string a long section of wire. So way up that way is a pull post that you saw Ben pounding in the ground with that post pounder that concerned some of y'all. There's a pull post way up there, and there's a pull post quite a ways down that way. Now Ben can tell you the exact footage that he put those apart. Then we take this high tensile wire and put an insulator on it, and I'm going to show you all this in a few minutes. And start at one pull post and take it all the way to the next one, get it on there hand tight and crimp it on there. I'm going to show you that too. And then this may sound kind of counterproductive, but it's just what you do. Then you go to like somewhere in the middle and you cut it and you put these tighteners on it, these little gear looking things, and this tensioner spring. And then that is what you can pull it really tight and snug with. You have to have these in the middle. So therefore you have to cut it to get those in there. So then this is what the kids and I have been doing. But today we're gonna do it all because Ben's just not here. He's having to work a lot, he's on a job, and the farm has to go on. So Lane, come right down here. We're pounding these. We bought these fiberglass posts, so we're having to wear rubber gloves. So that's a little tip for you. If you're ever pounding fiberglass posts, rubber gloves are awesome. It will not go in them. I'm not using these gloves because I love these gloves and I don't want fiberglass getting in them because it is hard to get out. So we're only using rubber gloves. We pound these in. I don't know the exact footage, but Emily does about 30 steps of her steps. She lays them out for me. I come behind her with the T-post driver. I pound them. Lane comes behind us with that, with a drill and a bit that it's basically running, I guess, right, Lane? So you don't need to use your best drill bit, and you need to realize it's probably gonna be trash when you're done. He drills a hole. We can show that down here. So Lane drills this hole, and then he comes behind me, and we've already got this wire tight right here, and he uses, we call these Carter keys. I don't know what other people call them. And then he puts it through this hole and it wraps back around. That's what holds this wire up. Now, obviously ours is not energized right now because we're working on it. The cows have already been shocked. I don't know that all of them have been shocked, but a couple of them, and cows are smart. It doesn't take them long to realize, hey, I'm gonna respect that because that hurts. So you can see they're out there. This wire's not even on. We just let them this far back because we just finished this section this morning. They're running, grazing around out here, having a good time, eating what grass there is, because there's a lot of like Johnson grass and just different types of grasses that came up in the fall and didn't completely die out. There's not a lot. Ideally, we'd like to have it, you know, knee high out here and turn them into it, but we don't have that this year. Hopefully next year we can plan and prepare for that better. But for this year, they're still eating what's out here, and what they call that standing hay when you stockpile it and leave it for them. I mean, it's the same as cutting hay. That's dead grass too. So anyway, we're gonna take you along and just set the camera somewhere and show you as the kids and I knock out a huge chunk of fence today. All right, Lane, you explain to us what we're about to do.
So we got this thing, we showed you in the last video, it's called the Spinning Jenny. You put a roll of wire on it, and then it's got like a bearing in the middle, so where it just spins. So we're gonna attach to the wire here to the mule, and you're gonna drive it all the way to the end while this...
So we've got that wire hooked on, we've got it just rigged up on the mule, up on that handle. And then I'm gonna drive,
and the whole...
Jenny's gonna spin, right?
Yeah. It's gonna unroll all this wire till you get to the end. Then we'll attach it down there and cut it down here. Attach it down here.
And then we'll be back with you and show you the next step.
Yep.
Why are you huffing?
I just ran like a half mile.
Well, good for you. Way to be a go-getter. So we've pulled this wire a long ways. Further than, way back there at those trees. Anyway. Alright, so we've pulled it up here. This is what we're calling our pull post. That's what y'all saw Ben pounding in the ground. We're going to take it off the mule and he's going to show us what to do next. Alright, Lane, so you took it off the mule.
Yep.
Alright, you kind of walk us through now what we're going to do to get it onto this pull post.
Okay, we're going to use some crimping sleeves, but they're just barely big enough for the wire, so a bunch of twists and curves won't work. So I'm going to cut it off right about down here where it's straight. Okay. Come over here and show them these. These are Hayes crimping sleeves. This is the HC2. They're the same on both sides. I'm going to slide 3 of those on there.
No, you're only going to crimp 2, but you can tell them in a minute why you put a 3rd on there, I guess.
The 3rd is we'll bend the wire back over and feed it back through the 2 holes. And
so show them how to, let's show them that.
Okay, yeah, so let me put, the last thing you're going to need is a insulator. It's plastic, so it won't short out to the pole. So
okay.
you can slide that over the wire. Slide all that down. Now, I'm not worried about getting this one tight because we'll tighten it up on the other end. So I'm going to wrap this around, kind of bend it, slide the crimps down, and fit this wire back through that second hole here, if I can get it in. Feed that through. Now I'm going to feed on the second one. And the 3rd one I'm going to leave loose for a jumper wire if we are to ever run more wire from this post to our pull post over there. We can crimp a wire from that one to a 3rd crimp on the other wire and jump our power between the 2.
Okay.
So now that
Lena's got a crimp because I feel like I'm really strong, but this crimper is serious business.
So I'm going to grab these crimps and pinch the wire here and try to slide them up as far as I can.
Okay.
So I've got, these are called crimping pliers. They've got several notches for the different size crimps. I'm going to be using the bottom one, and you're going to just fit the notches over the crimp and crimp it. I'm going to crimp the second one down here on the end. Okay, then I'm going to crimp the second one on the other end, and then just to make sure it doesn't pull out, I'm going to crimp it one more time right in the middle. And then we're going to do the first one we put on there the same exact way. Basically what you're doing with this crimp is inside of there, it's separated with that little wall, and this is a really soft metal, so you're squeezing your wire through there, and then when you're crimping on the sides, you're basically squishing that together really tightly around that wire, so it's kind of molding around the wire so the wire can't pull out, because I mean it's just like sandwiching all the wires together.
Okay, so Lane's got us hooked up on this end. We're gonna go, we left Emily way down there. We're gonna go hook up the other end, just like we did this. Okay, so we're down here at the other end, and before we hook up this end, we gotta pull it like hand tight. So Emily is way down there at the middle now. She's took off walking and she's bouncing it. I don't know if y'all can see her, I'll try to zoom in. But she's trying to get it up off the ground, and we gotta get it at least hand tight before we hook this end up.
Okay, now that we've gotten it attached on both ends, we're gonna put a tensioner spring and a ratchet in the middle to get it as tight as possible.
So what are you doing with barbed wire stretchers?
Well, in the middle, you're gonna cut it. But if you cut it without anything on it, it doesn't curl up barbed wire, it just kind of shoots in both directions. And then you're gonna lose all your tension that you pulled on your post. So I'm gonna attach it on both sides, cut it in the middle so my string doesn't go anywhere. Then I can put my spring and tensioner on it, and
that's best case scenario, right?
Always. This is the spring. We're gonna grip the end right here and slide it out like that. Slide it off. And then this is our ratchet. I'm gonna hook it on there like that. Then I'm gonna squeeze these together. Try and feed it up through there.
So Ben is just a super handy guy. I don't know if y'all picked up on that yet, but he can pretty much fix anything. He can rig anything up. When we start a project, we hardly ever have to go to the store because he's got the stuff laying around. He can just make it work. And Lane has spent many hours with him, and he's trained Lane to be the same way. So it's super handy to have around, because I rely on Lane these days a lot.
I'm gonna cut the wire, feed it through here, bring it back around and crimp it. And then on this side, I'm gonna feed it through these two holes and bend it, so then we can ratchet the wire to get it a lot tighter.
All right, we'll just watch you do it. Okay, it held so far.
Look at that. Okay, so you always want to slide your crimps on first. So I'm gonna slide those on. Feed it here through the spring, back around.
Let me come over there.
Okay, next I'm gonna feed the wire up through the hole in the ratcheter, and
There's
that's
a hole in the middle of it.
Yeah, see, it goes through the front.
Okay.
Goes all the way through the back. I'll put it in the left. Get, I don't know, that much slack in it.
How much?
Just that much, maybe an inch or something. Then you're gonna wanna grab it with your pliers. Fencing pliers are kinda hard to grab with. And bend it back over.
You're trying to get it to start feeding around this thing, because it's gonna wrap around it and pull a lot of tension on your line.
Okay, so now
there's a little fancy tool that fits right on there and tightens this up, but on these new ones we bought, our tool won't fit. So Lane is just using a good old-fashioned crescent wrench,
fencing stretchers,
because they're heavy and weighting it down.
These things are old and very rusty, so you gotta kind of help them a little bit. Okay, so now I can pull it pretty tight.
So now, okay, we've got it started. So Lane, tell them what you're going for here.
Okay, so what you're hoping to get to is, if you've gotten enough tension out of the wire by your hand up at the pull post, is this here, the spring is gonna close down with the tension, because I mean, if you think about it, this end down here goes through and hooks on this end, same way with this one. So they're gonna pull apart and
So it's
suck
pulling
this thing
tension
together. And then if you look right there, I don't know if they can really tell, but right there is a little indentation. And then right up in here is a little indentation. You're hoping to get it down to the second one.
Second notch.
The second indentation thingy. And that'll tell you you got your wire tight enough.
All right, so we've got an assembly line pretty much going. Emily walks this and walks off the steps, and you can see over here, she's laid me out these fiberglass posts, so they're exactly where they need to be. I come back with the T-post driver and pound these to where the T-post driver's sitting about that far off the ground. That's our height that we want. I pull it out a little bit from this brush because I don't want anything interfering with the current. And then Lane comes behind us and drills. So we're gonna kind of take you through that and show you that real quick. So Lane got the tension on the line. You can see it's a little bit off the ground. Now you're not going to get tension on a line this long and have it up, you know, very high off the ground because it's heavy and there's a lot of line, but it's tight nonetheless. So I'm gonna put these where I want them, and then I'll pull the line out to it. I'm not gonna try to just put these up in this mess up against the line. That's about as deep as I go. We figured out that works best. So then I stop, I move on.
So now I've got my drill bit and my drill and this. We call these Carter keys. This has a 30-inch mark on it. That's how high we want our wire. So I'm gonna bring my stick over here and get it right there at 30.
So you can see that's why I stopped where I did, because now he's got a couple inches above it. He's gonna drill that. We're wearing our rubber gloves so we don't get fiberglass in our hands.
You don't want to breathe this. Now, starting off, it would normally go a lot faster than that, but like she told you earlier, this is basically wrecked this drill bit. We've, I don't know, probably drilled 40 posts already with it.
Probably more than that.
Probably more than that. I mean, it's killed it. Okay, so now you're gonna take your key here and open it up and slide it over my wire like that.
Okay.
And pull back and pinch this key closed and slide it through my hole. Now you're just going to use a drill bit that fits the size that your key will go through. I'm going to wrap the leg around and around, and that's all there is to it.
Guys, I'm already worn out. We haven't even finished one yet. I had to just lay about half a mile's worth of fiberglass posts out. And let me tell you, carrying 4 of those at a time is pretty heavy, but adding on these gloves that rub your hands, it's tiring. And I've already walked about 2 miles today, and we've only done 1 strip of wire.
Okay, so Lane is going down the line, drilling the holes. Emily's doing the Carter keys. Turn around here. The other day when we were working all day, did we finish?
No.
No? What happened?
I ran out of a pole. I ran out of poles by 1. 1 pole!
And what else happened to us?
It got dark.
So we worked on it all day a couple days ago. Literally, it got dark on us and we had to quit. But we're out here finishing. We just got a few more minutes, and then this project will only have 1 small section left and we'll be complete. So we just wanted to wrap this video up, bring y'all out here and tell you we didn't quite meet our goal, but that's okay. We worked hard. We got a lot done while we were here by ourselves. We're here by ourselves again today, but we're finishing this up. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you to all those who have come from Bobblehead and Roots and Refuge and all the different places. I don't know how all of you heard about us besides them, but I'm glad you did and glad you're here. While you're here, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. We've got lots of videos coming up, and we'll be coming up with a lot more details about the meetup after the first of the year. We're gonna have some year-end review videos. We've accomplished a lot on the homestead this year, a lot on this YouTube channel that we're so thankful for. So be watching for all of that, and we just appreciate every one of you, and we'll see you on the next video. God bless.